and passing on their faces, and they will be displayed before Allah, and upon their mouths will be a covering which is in this instant is meant to prevent them from speaking. The phrasing of the previous narrations indicates that the gathering referred to is the gathering of those who are present. When the world comes to an end, the place of gathering for them will be the land of Asham, Syria, and surrounding areas. They will be of three categories. A group will be gathered, fed, and clothed, and they will be among mounts, upon mounts. A group will be walking sometimes and riding sometimes. They will take turns riding on a single mount, as has been mentioned in Bukhari and Muslim. There will be 2 on a camel, 3 on a camel, and 10 on a camel. This means that they will take turns riding because there will be few mounts, and the fire will gather the rest of them, and it is that fire which will emerge from the floor of Eden. It will encompass the fire Eden. It will compass the people from behind them, and it will steer them from all directions to the land of the gathering. As for those who remain behind from them, the fire will eat them. This all goes to prove that these occurrences will take place at the end of this world, when people will eat and drink, and when they will ride on level mounts and other mounts as well. That the fire mentioned occurs at the end of this world is further proven by the fact that the fire will destroy those who remain behind. If all of that were indeed for after the blowing of the resurrection, there would not remain death, a mount that travels eating or drinking or even clothing for the Arasat. What is indeed bewildering is that after having related most of these Ahadeeth, said the aforementioned riding refers to the day of resurrection, he mentioned the following proof to support his opinion. The day we shall gather the Muttaqun pious unto the most beneficent Allah, like a delegate presented before a king for honor, and we shall drive the mujrimun, polytheists, sinners, criminals, disbelievers in the oneness of Allah, to hell in a thirsty state, like a thirsty herd driven down to water. On the day of resurrection, when people will be gathered, they will be barefooted, naked, and uncircumcised. How can his declared tafsir of the verse be correct when it is mentioned in the hadith that from them there will be 2 on a camel, 3 on a camel, and 10 on a camel? Furthermore, it was clearly mentioned that the reason why there is more than 1 per camel is because there is a shortage of mounts, which is appropriate for this world, and Allah knows best the superior mounts from paradise that the believers will ride from Al-Arasat to the paradise constitute another matter altogether, and we will clarify this in a later section. In another hadith, which is related through different chains from a group of companions, such as Ibn Abbas and others, the following is mentioned. Indeed, when you will be gathered, you will be barefooted, naked, and uncircumcised. As we began the first creation, we shall repeat it. The gathering we discussed previously is not the gathering we are discussing here, which is the gathering on the day of resurrection. After the blowing of the resurrection, people will stand up from their graves, barefooted, naked, and uncircumcised. On the other hand, the disbelievers will be gathered to the hellfire, and they will all be thirsty. Allah says, and we shall gather them together on the day of resurrection on their faces, blind, dumb, and deaf. Their abode will be hell. Whenever it abates, we shall increase for them the fierceness of the fire. This will occur when they are in the place of gathering, and Allah commands them to the fire. We will clarify this further later on.